Now, I'd just like to reassure any COVID police who are watching that there is a small, socially distanced studio audience here, as well as some more people in the cinema next door who are watching this on a big screen. Or they say they are, they're probably watching Tenet. And here in the studio, we're all shielded from each other by a Perspex screen. I hope it's not too unsettling for you. Ian, I suppose it's a bit like when you used to buy your bottle of Thunderbird from that off-licence in Camberwell.
I feel like I'm prison visiting, actually. I think that's...
Students being locked up. This is what £9,000 a year looks like.
This is just this completely unforeseeable event, October, which just came along and hit the government out the blue. I mean, no one had any idea that term started normally in October, and that there would be a lot of students all together. They hadn't taken any precautions, and they were completely amazed.
What have students at Manchester Metropolitan University been doing?
Have they been protesting, putting messages in their window?
They have been putting amusing notes in their windows. Send nudes, weed, food, yes.
The government says the BBC's out of touch. It needs to have someone who's more representative of the Britain that exists. So we're having an old Etonian peer. Charles Moore, who doesn't watch television and was prosecuted for refusing to pay a licence fee. It's a choice.
I think the good news, Ian, is they've still got to go through the entire application process, so there's still time for you to apply.
Good. That would be good. I can think of one sacking.
What are you looking at me for?
It's quite an easy job at the moment, being Chancellor. I mean, you say, would you like an enormous amount of money? And everyone says it's not enough. You go, OK, here's some more. And then people go, that's fantastic. As Chancellors go, he is extraordinarily adept.
It'd be lovely if he'd help out the live entertainment industry a little bit more, though, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than just letting it die a slow death.
Yeah, I agree.
It's no joke, just
yeah. Serious comment, yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful I'm on here, you know, but like...
And you've been promised a bed for the night, haven't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, as Chris is saying, live comedy club.
It's safer than me driving home, Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Dominic Cummings said.
Brexit's still happening, of course. Anyone want to talk about that? I sort of felt myself dying halfway through that question.
Donald Trump clapping himself and making sort of gestures with his arms. Then we're going to Joe Biden, who seems to be sort of hearing music that only he can hear and dancing to. Yeah, so it's the debates.
Yes, this was the first presidential debate, which was basically two angry old white men shouting at each other about what's wrong with the world. Dana Bash came up with this refreshing angle on the extraordinary debate.
I'm just going to say it like it is. That was a shit show.
It could have been describing any moment from the past 4 years, of course.
A lot of people have said that the real losers are the American people, but not all of them, because a lot of them did vote for him.
You get the leaders you deserve, but you've got to be careful of throwing stones in that particular glass right now. Shall we have a look at some of these highlights, because they're pretty, they're pretty stunning, jaw-droppingly unpresidential moments here.
Absolutely.
It's your administration. That's not an idea.
Everybody in your administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas that are...
I never said it.
Okay. That is
what
not
he
true.
did is
You're
he
done
said
in this segment.
He called the military stupid bastards.
I
he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape. He said stupid bastards. He
Sir,
said it.
stop.
It literally sounds like you're playing two separate programmes on the two tellies.
And the thing about Trump's taxes should have come up. I mean, the President of the United States has paid no tax. He's avoided paying tax deliberately for most of his whole career.
10 out of the last 15 years. And for 2016, 2017, he paid $750. He's paid more to a former porn actress than he has paid into the American tax system.
Yeah.
We all know the president likes to spring a surprise, and no one knows that more than Serbian President Alexander Vucic, who is here on Trump's right. He appears to have been tricked into signing something he didn't agree to. See if you can spot the moment he realizes he's been had.
Serbia is committed to opening a commercial office in Jerusalem this month and to move its embassy to Jerusalem in July. That's fantastic. That's a big thing. That's a very big statement, and we appreciate that very much. It's taken tremendous bravery by the president of Serbia and the president of Kosovo, who are with me today, two highly respected people.
Here's the gramophone of news. Fingers on buzzers. Here it comes. Put that in. There you go.
That's the theme tune of Mock the Week. That's the theme music to Have I Got News for You.
Yes, is the correct answer. Yes, as
That really wasn't the first question, was it?
Have I Got News for You celebrates a significant anniversary. As a nod to the show being on for 30 years, shall we have a quick quiz about what was happening in 1990?
Jesus.
As you've got the prop, yeah.
Yeah. When was you born, Katie?
89, so I'm going to apologise now for this round.
I was 13, so unless it's about Super Mario and things that make you go blind, I've got no chance.
I want you to tell me who is this and what was their great achievement in 1990.
I don't promise you that it will be easy, and I don't promise you that it will be quick.
That is John Major. He'd just taken over from Margaret Thatcher. She was Prime Minister when this show started. After she'd been Prime Minister for, 11 years, and she couldn't take the pressure of a weekly topical quiz show on BBC Two. So she left, and John Major became the Prime Minister.
On the subject of moustaches, whose tash is this from 1990?
Is that Peter Mandelson?
Is the correct answer.
Have you've been close enough to see that moustache?
I tell you, the 90s were pretty wild.
Ian means the 1890s.
I was expecting a sound clip of the moustache. I thought it was going to be a particularly noisy moustache.
Yeah, it seems a bit unfair when Chris to show him a picture of a moustache and say, who is this?
I'm just glad to be here, Paul.
Yeah, he's glad to be here.
You're right, they should have got a replica of the moustache and put it on front of you. You could have felt it.
Well, he might not have known it was a moustache, but let's leave it there. I'm still thinking about the answer of Peter Mandelson, but by a different route.
I'm going to show you a picture
All right, then.
of Maggie
Yeah.
in 1990, and all you have to do is tell me what was Maggie up to. Here's the first one.
Being a
There you go.
There we are.
I mean, I can't see the picture, I'm just guessing, but you know, I think I'm probably...
There speaks a proud Liverpudlian.
Charlie and Louise, back to you both.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, are you a Rick Astley fan? Not a massive one, but I was around.
Well, that was the wrong
I'll just
thing to
I was
say.
around.
He's listening, and he's coming up in just a moment. I'll ask you again. Are you a Rick Astley fan?
Love Rick Astley. Best.
Wait, he's coming up next, so it'll be very pleased to hear that.
Ian, are you a fan of Rick Astley?
Yeah, is he in the audience?
BBC's decision to roll out what comes as a surprise to what?
BBC's decision to roll out questions about the news in 1990 comes as a complete surprise to guests on Have I Got News for You.
We were 13 at the time.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
What? That's the most stupid picture I've ever seen.
That works as a caption.
Why is he offering him sausages?
I had this described to me before we came out to film, and I just thought, I'm really glad I'm not expected to participate in this bit.
He was speaking at a virtual Conservative Party conference this week.
I like the idea of a virtual conference, though, with virtual policies and virtually no one there and virtually no ideas.
Now why are you looking at me? I was going to say, this is...
You're the only one of us who I'm guessing would be interested in this. this year they had to go online and it didn't work.
Depends what you mean by work, Paul, in the sense of did the speeches get delivered?
Well, Ian, for a
Did we
start.
So what's wrong with the name, Paul?
Nothing's wrong with it. I was just remembering that detail isn't this government's strong point.
But isn't this not perhaps long COVID? Because they say, don't they, that people who've had it, and he had it very seriously, as we remember, do suffer from sort of like, memory lapses and...
Failure to concentrate, inability to grasp detail.
Yes.
No, that was before he had it.
Oh, was it?
Here's an interesting fact. According to Boris Johnson, which is the only country in Europe to have more fat people than the UK?
Is it ironically Finland? First time I've ever gotten a round of applause on Finland. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys are getting it, all of you.
Yeah.
All of you. And they applaud. Great. It's a privilege, sir. Oh, it's the American Health Service. The mask comes off.
Here comes Wince. Yeah. Doesn't look well there, does he?
No. It's a funny colour.
Obviously, this dominated the news and it left editors all over the world trying to find the local angle. Here's how it was reported in the Air Advertiser. Turnberry hotelier tests positive for coronavirus. And in the Glasgow Live, man who almost bought Rangers tests positive for COVID-19. Whilst one film website went for star of Home Alone 2 has tested positive for COVID-19. So just on coronavirus, who do you think's going to get it next? Yeah. In the US sort of presidential world.
Oh, I see. Not
Yes.
Mrs. Watkins at number 23.
No,
It seems to be unfair.
very long list.
Bloody pick on somebody,
Who's closest to Trump? Oh, Putin.
He also released a video from inside the hospital to prove how well he was doing. Someone on his team used some very efficient editing software to edit out a cough.
So many things have happened. If you look at the therapeutics, which I'm taking right now.
Can we go closer in? Let's go closer in. You get a really good idea. It looks like a hiccup, but actually it's a cough that they've edited out.
If you look at the therapeutics, which I'm taking right now.
Looks like the bleach is coming back up.
The President's Dr. Sean Conley announced there was no cause for concern. And nothing says no cause for concern like bringing 10 other doctors along. It looks like they're about to do a dance routine on Britain's Got Talent.
Yes. Or a bowling alley with a bizarre medical thing.
One looks like he's borrowed his dad's doctor's uniform.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome biodiversity! Who was the star of the show at the Vice presidential debate on Thursday?
It was a fly that landed on Mike Pence's very sort of well hairsprayed hair, and it was everyone was so thrilled by what was going on that they were more interested in the fly.
One person labelled the fly an American hero. Let's have a look at this memorable picture from the night.
This is a story about people changing their accents, depending on what company they keep.
Seems like an absurd idea. You really think there's anything in this?
Yes, of course there is, Gov.
What the hell was that? That was the worst since Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins.
Thank God for that.
What's this BBC English?
Is it like, hello, welcome to the BBC?
That's it, yes, exactly.
Received English, RP.
Yes, exactly, that's it.
The Queen's English.
Yeah, is she?
Yeah.
No, I don't know as well as you do, but I expect you've picked her up in your cab many a time. God blimey, God blimey, Elaine, this bit in the pilly, is he?
Anyway, she's German.
If you were trying to say answer the phone or something, what mine would you do for phone? Yeah, young people do this because the phone is completely different. They don't know what this is.
Yeah.
'Cause no one has a landline, so you just look mad.
Oh, but to be fair though, Ian's mine for a phone would be
That's a mine for something else where I'm from.
Dogs might not be able to tell who their owners are, but they can definitely spot when they're being tricked by them, though. One angry dog.
That's what I was like when I was on a restrictive diet as well.
Newsnight's Emily Maitlis expects to make a fortune from her new invention, the hover dress.
So, Labour throws down the gauntlet, now it's the government's move. We speak to both sides.
Yes, this is the news of Boris Johnson's latest great idea to restrict coronavirus by dividing up the UK into 3 tiers. We weren't going to talk about it, but now London's involved. It's a proper news story.
We're in tier 2 now, aren't we?
As of midnight, yes.
Yes, it's like a cake.
Except every layer is made of shit.
Who else saved themselves some money this week?
Oh, I hope this isn't the Dominic Cummings story.
Yes, unfortunately it
Can't
is.
you just leave it alone and move on? We've all had enough of hearing about Dominic Cummings behaving badly. We don't need any more of this, Stephen.
I could take a little bit more.
OK.
There's a bin near where I go for a walk that's sort of for dog waste, and somebody stuck a photograph of Dominic Cummings under the front of it. No caption or anything, it's just it's been up there for weeks.
When did you do that?
Oh, about 3 days.
Rishi Sunak also launched a website to help people retrain. You answer 40 questions.
I did this.
You did it, and what did it come up with? What should you be?
I answered it honestly. All that stuff about, you know, do you like people disagreeing with you? Oh, yes, I'm very good at that. Anyway, it gave me 3 job options. It said I should be a fairground assistant.
Scream if you want to go faster.
Cloth cap fag in your mouth.
Yeah. Second was Ofsted inspector. I'm genuinely not making this up. And the third one was gravedigger.
Wow.
I filled out this form, but I didn't find out what it was.
These are your suggestions,
Yep.
Paul. Leisure centre assistant.
Yes.
Bailiff.
Bailiff, yeah.
Cake decorator.
No.
Checkout operator.
How many jobs have I got here?
Well, last 2 really, I think, sum up how brilliantly this system works.
Yeah.
They're asking you can either be a checkout operator or a judge.
I'm just terrified at the thought of Paul as a judge.
Yeah.
It's one profession that I might have to encounter him in.
Exactly. Well, I'm not so pleased about you being a gravedigger, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah, they're sending one of these chicken nuggets up into space to celebrate 50 years of this supermarket.
Here it is.
Right, that looks authentic.
Yeah.
Seems to be transported by the rocket ship Adobe Photoshop. It does appear to have been, imagine it, a PR stunt. We don't want to give them any free publicity, so let's call them B-Jam.
B-Jam?
Yeah.
Right, OK.
How did B-Jam announce the event?
On the Iceland website.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. They sent a tweet. We don't know who needs to hear this, but we sent the first ever chicken nugget into space. Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to hear it. We just put it on the show because the rest of the news is so depressing.
Well, he's well, would you believe?
Although he's been dyeing his hand white.
Even, I'm not very good with makeup, but even I know how to do a wee bit of blending. It's like he's just opened the makeup bag and did like that. Chicken nuggets are stuck to him.
Yeah, that actually does look like a chicken nugget. What was Trump thinking about doing last week when he came out of hospital?
Oh, he had a great plan, which was that he wanted to go out on the balcony. Instead of ripping his mask off, he thought he'd put a Superman T-shirt on and rip it open like that. And it's one of those news stories where you read it and you go, that can't be true. And then you think, oh, yeah, no, that can be true. Yeah.
It's Trump, yeah.
They say that he's behaving like that because he took all these steroids when he was in hospital. They say one of the side effects is sort of overconfidence and manic behaviour, but then, I mean, how do you know?
was a guy from The Late Show, I saw a bit of this the other day, who was going around talking to Trump supporters. And one guy said, this country, he said, is better off than it was 4 years ago. I'm better off than I was 4 years ago. And the guy said, you're better off than you were 4 years ago. I said, yeah. He said, what do you do? He says, I'm a debt collector. So it's a cult.
A terrible misprint.
Yeah. Oh, I've got cramp in my leg. Oh.
Do you want me to hit it for you?
Oh, Christ.
I mean, there's literally nothing any of us can do for you.
Don't come near me.
Do this with your foot.
all right.
Then go round.
I'm all right, everyone. Don't rush over. I'm OK. Right.
Some water would help.
Is that what'll help?
Yes, because it's partly dehydration.
Crisps are good, providing we're not turning into a pub.
How did BT Sports boxing coverage get itself tangled in a politically correct knot this week? Been watching BT's boxing coverage, Helen?
I do little else, and yet somehow I've missed this.
Well, the show wanted to acknowledge Black History Month. Let's have a look at this surprising piece of television.
And before we get to talk about our main fight here, David, I think it is perhaps appropriate tonight that we just pause to mark Black History Month, most of all. And we discussed it today, and we thought it was actually right that we acknowledge that properly, and there's nobody better placed on our team to do that than Steve Bunt. So over to you for a moment, Steve.
Thanks so much indeed.
Wow. Why might Britain's first vegan football team, Forest Green Rovers, be about to give their stadium an unusual name? They've decided to hand the decision for naming the new stadium over to a fan vote.
Oh.
Yeah. Any idea what name they've come up with?
Footy McFootball.
That'd have been better than this. Kevin. This week, a survey of homeowners revealed they think many... This week, a survey of homeowners revealed they think... Yeah.
Go on, tell us. You're
Take
teasing
a
us.
run at it.
Yeah, don't run at it, you'll get cramp again.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of this show, you get cramp. In 10 years' time, where were you when Steve Mangan got cramp? Is it coming back again?
No, I'm just stroking it.
Oh.
Woman regrets taking engagement photos with her dog after it thinks the ring is a treat and eats it.
Stay. Stay.
Door.
Oh, yes! Good!
When she sees that again, she won't want to put it on her finger.
I think the country's sort of fallen in love with Andy Burnham a bit. He's like
Really?
He's like the new hot.
Is this just you?
No, it is other people as well.
Name them.
My friend Susan.
Oh, you have.
Your friend Susan. My friend Susan. In fact, we think he's a bit like the new hot priest from Fleabag. Yeah, one person clapping. Thank you. You know what I'm saying.
That was sympathy.
Yeah, that was Andy Burnham. Boris Johnson looks at the North the same way he looks at his own children. He feels that there should be a relationship there, but he doesn't know exactly what.
Or where it is.
Has characterised their hindsight-heavy behaviour. But, excuse me, did the Honourable Lady just call me scum?
Order! 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 Order!
From the front bench, we will not have remarks like that. Not under any circumstances, no matter how heartfelt it might be. Not at all.
I saw that intervention and I thought, does that mean that on the back bench everyone can shout, scum, 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 and it's not even heartfelt, scum, 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 scum. Another MP said paying for meals for kids who can't afford meals during half-term is the equivalent of nationalising children. And being seen to be not in favour of feeding children, it's never a good look. And it makes you look a bit like scum.
Oh, Malala.
Yes, Malala. Why is she unhappy this week?
She's unhappy because people are cross with her because she's got a friend who's a Tory.
Yeah.
A Nobel Peace Prize winner, if she makes friends with a Tory, she should address them as scum! Scum, scum, scum. Do you want to come and have a drink? Scum! Anyway, she's a student. She's made a friend.
Yeah.
And therefore, everybody has decided they should pile onto her. Is it mostly Twitter? Is it social media?
It is.
Oh, God.
What did one young Trump supporter do at a rally this week?
Celebrate his 100th birthday.
Oh, no. He's not orange enough. He's not orange enough.
He's
he
not
needs
orange
to be
enough.
covered in what's it dust.
What's Trump threatened to do if he loses the election?
He's going to go to live in another country.
Aisha, where do you think he's threatening to go?
Not Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
Yes, he's coming your way.
No!
He's coming for you.
Close the borders immediately.
That great big wobbly golfing arse is coming your way.
There was a man on a programme on Sky. He's got tattoos all over his face. And someone said, you've got the words 88 on your face. You're a Nazi. That's a secret code for Heil Hitler.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
He said, it's not a Nazi thing. It's not Nazi at all. My father died, aged whatever it was, in 1988. And then everyone felt really guilty. And all the Twitter people who'd been saying, yeah, Nazi, were going, ooh, sorry, dead father, ooh. The end of the story was that his father said, I'm not dead. I didn't die in 1988, and in fact, I haven't died at all. And at that point, I think Sky thought, maybe it means Heil Hitler after all.
It's an ancient Peruvian cat.
Yeah.
He appeared this week where? On a hill. Yes.
Oh, it's on the Nazca lines, isn't it?
Completely right.
Yeah, on that
yes.
plateau. It's a fox.
Researchers believe the giant animals were made as messages to the gods. The message here being, we're not very good at drawing cats. According to a new survey, let's have a chat is the most dreaded phrase to hear at work, along with, can anyone else not smell or taste their lunch?
In the Midlands, government food technicians are hoping that by introducing it in small amounts, they can disguise the taste of chlorinated chicken. And in Camden, CCTV footage reveals the culprit after faecal matter is left on Keir Starmer's desk.
Yeah, this is the astounding news that a former leader has been thrown out of the party.
Within 9 months of him being Labour leader.
So BBC staff can no longer vent their political frustrations on Twitter, as according to Tim Davey, this will now be a sackable offence.
I don't count. I'm not an employee. I'm freelance.
No, essentially, Ian's the bloke on this programme who locks up at night. So, he's got the keys, he locks up at night, and that's it.
The caretaker.
The caretaker.
This is true.
Yeah.
I always find caretakers quite creepy, so that kind of fits, doesn't it?
What was school like? Do you want to talk about it? Shall we have a therapist?
Well, our caretaker gladly encouraged us to smoke in the loo, which was quite funny. But we were sponsored, our school, by British American Tobacco.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I haven't just made that up for comedy value.
Were you in the US? This is in
This is in Middlesbrough. Yeah.
God, it was all happening in Middlesbrough,
Yeah, so,
wasn't
well,
it?
this was a Tory initiative, so this was a city technology
Check.
This week, the Labour leader was driving his car when he was involved in a collision with a Deliveroo driver.
Was this a driver or a cyclist?
Cyclist.
Cyclist? Yeah, a delivery cyclist.
Right.
Yeah. The delivery driver was taken to hospital.
He's driver again, is he?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. This programme doesn't know the difference between a cyclist and a driver. I know so far it's been the highlight of the show, but nevertheless.
Thinking he might have killed a driver...
Cyclist! Most of the Democrats have already voted. Most Republicans haven't voted yet. They're going to vote on the day. So if there's a huge surge for Trump on the day, he might say, yeah, I've won. And then that's all going to kick off.
And Trump's family have voted as well.
He also looks as if he's been stuffed with formaldehyde or something. It looks like a waxwork of himself. Weird.
Also, look how he's holding the envelope. Isn't that really weird? Looks like he's never held anything in his life.
What, like a proper job?
Yeah.
It's an Illuminati signal. I was bluffing there, to be honest. I wouldn't recognise an Illuminati signal.
You say that.
It's not... No, it's not my cult.
What is it?
I'm not in a cult. I don't have a cult. Why would I have a cult?
Because you look like someone who might be in a cult.
You look like you might do a bit of caretaking in your spare time. I suspected of you.
Yes, Stephanie's got it in for everyone tonight. I'm
Oh,
a caretaker, you're a cult.
BBC One, Ian. I think we'll have less of that
BBC
language.
One.
Sorry,
This isn't Channel 4, you know. Oh, I do apologise. That's who you work for now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's all right, no one knows.
All right, thanks.
Our little secret.
See, creepy caretaker.
The man of the moment, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Who has the whole nation covered themselves in glory, whilst unfortunately the government has covered themselves in crap.
So basically,
This week.
You haven't changed parties, have you, without telling me?
I just don't believe you should starve kids and have grown a conscience.
Oh, what sort of Tory are you? I like the defence by the government, which said he's just playing politics, which is always the last resort of the politician who's noticed that someone's playing it better than they are.
And also, in light of the fact that meals in the House of Commons are subsidised, and so all these MPs who are standing up and saying, how dare we subsidise and feed starving kids, are not prepared to kind of follow the same rules themselves. It's just awful, and I just think there's no way in these incredibly difficult times we can just justify this position, and the government's wrong on it, and the best thing it could do is just stand up and say we got it wrong.
Yeah. Are they good at that?
And then they've picked a fight with a guy who's not just running an amazing campaign, but scored a hat-trick this week. I mean, they're on a loser, aren't they? This guy's on a high and he's going to keep winning. And they're just going to have to change their mind.
That in his constituency, a food voucher might end up in a crack den or a brothel. But to be honest, I don't remember anyone paying me with a food voucher when I worked in a brothel. There we are. But, I mean, that is...
Hang on a minute. You can't just move on from there. Ian, were you the man that used to lock up at night?
No, when did you work in a brothel?
Just before I joined the BBC, actually.
Right.
Well, hopefully it wasn't after you joined the BBC.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Do you want my price list?
Any concessions for coach parties?
What the hell have I said?
Yeah.
What does Danny Dyer think the problem is?
He thinks that there aren't enough working-class people running the country and the Etonians need to get their hands off power.
On the flip side, should there be more parts for posh people in EastEnders?
Yeah.
I'm happy to audition. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a straight offer. I just want to be in the room.
Go on, let's have your audition then now. If you were auditioning...
It could be called Westenders.
We're looking for a new pub landlord.
Hello, yep. Hi, guys, come in. Let me tell you about the philosophy of this place. Have you been here before? No. The specials are on the board. Do you have any allergies? Do you need me to explain sharers and sliders? All our stuff comes in baskets because we're arseholes.
I want to come.
Hey, you know.
You have to be able to say, get out of my pub, though. How would you say that?
Ronald, could you tell the scary people to get out of the pub?
I'm a gym member. I think I'm still paying my gym membership as it happens.
Some might say you need a refund.
Oh, well, I've got to work out.
If you have a pie with a salad, as you would do in a very posh EastEnders pub, then yes, that's a substantial meal, which means the pub can stay open.
I have pie, salad and chips.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Yeah,
right, okay.
and garlic sauce. And peas.
Are you a member of a gym? I didn't mean that, sorry.
It's 11 inches long. That's big, isn't it, Ian?
What, and you call me creepy?
How do you think a tablecloth can help you in lockdown?
Is it a tablecloth that can tell how much you've eaten?
Is this you going on about me being fat again?
Is it a tablecloth that listens to your conversation, so it knows stuff that you might forget, and you might be sort of laying the table, and the tablecloth will suddenly say, don't put Jonathan and Karen next to each other, they do not get on anymore.
Probably measuring how many plates there, what's the weight of the plates, how much food is on the plates, how many people are sitting at the table, and all that sort of stuff.
Things you couldn't possibly do if you were laying the table. Oh, I wonder how many plates I've put down. Better wait for the cloth to tell me.
I
Have I poured out water for everyone? I've no idea.
Well, you know, if you asked me to have 2 words to describe Ian, camp sarcasm would not be the 2 words.
No, it suggests recipes. So if you put things on it, so if you put on, I don't know, rice and whatever else, it'll tell you what you
But
can
it's
make.
too late, because that's tablecloth and you're about to eat it.
When you get your shopping, you put your bag on the table when you come back from the supermarket.
The tablecloth says, what the fuck have you bought that for?
Why is it a sweary tablecloth?
OK, it could be camply sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you get those eggs? At the local farm shop?
I think I prefer that. What are we going to
feed
have? Smart
ourselves.
bed sheet. You lie down,
Yeah.
it says, go to sleep. In case you didn't know what you were meant to do.
Your next client is ready.
According to the boffins behind the tablecloth, other gadgets could include an electric toothbrush, which could arrange dental appointments.
You've got toothache. Oh, have I had no idea? Thank goodness you told me. I wondered what it was. Thank you, toothbrush. You're welcome.
The recording process can test the patience of the other members of the family.
It's very frustrating. It's just constant for a 4-hour period. But, you know, they're making people smile, so at the end of the day, you've got to leave them to it.
5 hours into a train journey, 2 passengers with pre-booked seats are still pretending not to have noticed each other.
Oh, no, what's his name? And he's the other one.
This is the news that the old white guy won. Yep, that does cover us. Either way. Yep, OK.
On the night, Trump declared that he'd won, way before any of the votes were in.
He kept saying things like, they're finding votes everywhere, but he made it out like they weren't finding them, they weren't meant to be, like they were down in the back of the sofa, or Biden was like, oh, hello, another vote.
All right, we got a key race alert right now. Too early to call in these states, including in Ohio. Too early to call in Ohio. 18 electoral votes in Ohio. Too early to call. Too early to call in North Carolina as well. 15 electoral votes in North Carolina. Too early to call. West Virginia, 5 electoral votes. Too early to call in West Virginia.
It was too early for them to broadcast that show. That's what it was too early for.
When I stayed up, it was too early to call for hours and hours, and then I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was too close to call. I thought I missed all the good bit.
You've missed the call.
Before I ask you a next question, let me just put up a tweet that Margaret Thatcher has just put out, because Theresa May,
Gosh, that's a spooky thought, isn't it? She's tweeting from beyond the grave.
Oh, yeah. So they have social media in heaven or hell or wherever you choose to assume that Margaret Thatcher is.
Could be purgatory.
Could be purgatory. No, that was when she was here.
OK.
Is the answer we're now in lockdown again?
Yes, lockdown 2, but Weatherspoons, as ever, are leading the way.
Are they giving the booze away because they don't want to waste it?
99p a pint, Ian, at Weatherspoons. See you there.
Where do you think I've been the last 2 days?
Exactly. When you say, I haven't slept, watching the news. I've seen you on that sticky carpet rolling around.
We're allowed, it's not as severe as the first one. We're allowed out on the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
Your favourite place.
Yes.
Get your rear out there.
That's where I get my freaking news, mate. Deprive me of the street. It's like TJ Hooker. I can't be behind a desk. I need to be out in the field.
The first lockdown must have been so hard for you.
TJ Hooker.
That's right. That's the refs I'm bringing, Paul. I've been locked down since 1987. Of my own volition. I've just come out and those are the refs I'm bringing. Romano's had a terrible time.
Magnum PI.
That's right. Wait till my next 5 jokes about Heather Lockyer. TJ Hooker. Correct. You remember? No. Unbelievable.
But Heather Lockyer now.
Yes.
Lockyer.
Lockyer?
Very beautiful. Heather Lockyer.
Yeah.
Heather Lockyer.
Dynasty.
Lockyer, she does the tyres. What Nigella Lawson had to apologise for? She licked her fingers on television. That's what she did. Well, she was making a marzipan cake on Saturday Kitchen.
If her fingers were 2 metres away from her face...
Yes.
A really long tongue.
Yeah.
A very long tongue.
Very long. Lizard length.
Yeah.
Yeah. It retracts very fast.
There's another
What people don't know
conspiracy.
about Nigella. It goes out and back before there's any spread.
Yeah.
That's why no one wants to be a cameraman on those shows. it's tongue in the eye all day.
Some people have volunteered to do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh, she was on Saturday Kitchen.
She was on Saturday Kitchen.
right,
Oh,
with
she
other
didn't have to apologise for licking her fingers in her own house on her own.
That's what I thought it
That
was.
would be very strange. By the way, I'm going to turn myself in.
You see, you said track and trace as well. Everyone does. It's test and trace.
Test and trace.
Track and trace is the post office. You literally are selling it.
Why am I saying track and trace?
No, we all say it.
Well, it's on the autocue, that's right.
OK, yeah. I've no idea. Everything, even this is on the autocue, Armand. Can you believe it? This ill-thought-out guff that I'm now saying is written down there.
This is bigger than The Matrix, isn't it?
Who writes this?
I did.
Why would someone write that I now turn my head to you without any idea what to say?
And
I
now
just
Paul
say it?
says...
They've misspelt guff. Look at it. G-O-U-G-H.
There's only 4 F's in guffs, I know
Exactly.
that.
Have you ever been to Guernsey?
That's what it's like,
It's
Paul.
like that all the time.
I've been to Guernsey and none of that happened.
Imagine if you're like a Guernsey estate agent. You're like, what are they doing?
This shiz is real in Guernsey.
Where is Guernsey, then?
It's where you stop when you haven't got enough petrol to get to France.
Well, it's a war zone, that's where it is.
Yeah. TJ Hooker would be right at home there, wouldn't he?
please.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's his bread and butter, that is.
That's a feature-length, TJ.
Yeah.
They're not going to cram that into 45 minutes.
No.
They're going to allow that episode to breathe.
This is Cliff Richard. Is he presenting a nude version of Sooty and Sweep?
No.
No?
Is he...
Thank you for whoever that was that laughed there. I heard a laugh come from out of the emptiness as somebody realised that somebody doing that could be a nude Sooty and Sweep. Thank you very much indeed for that. I can put that on my show reel.
next to the Guernsey police video.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet would definitely be bad cop.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
So she'd soften them up and then...
Sue would be the boss. She would summon them both in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say you've got 24
Say you've got 24 hours.
Yeah.
Bugsy Sue.
Yes.
For the...
She'd be always a slightly angry, irritated one.
Yeah.
With a complicated personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, Sue.
My job's on the line here, guys. There are tomatoes all over the floor.
What's that you said? You fabricated the evidence?
This is the news that Cliff Richard has stopped swearing.
What?
Do you not hear this news?
I love Cliff Richard swearing.
Yeah. He's cleaned up his act, Armando. None of that filth anymore.
What's the point of Cliff Richard if he's not going to start swearing?
Exactly.
That's all we know him for.
Exactly. If he's not going to drop the C-bomb, I'm not going. What he does is instead of saying them out loud, sometimes I think swear words. Another devastating...
So the story is that he... That there's something that he's
please
not
don't
going
put
to
too
do.
much pressure, Armando. Don't put... It won't take it, Armando. It will not take the pressure you're giving it.
Something hasn't happened. That's the story.
Armando, please.
And we don't know why, and Richard has no idea.
Don't lean on this.
I don't think he likes the word story. That's too strong.
Don't lean on this.
His cards are blank, I'm He's making it up.
Some stuff happened involving some person you may have heard of.
This whole show's going down.
And I'm just telling you about it. And if you don't think that's a TV show, if you want news and things that have happened and satire, you're in the wrong place, Armando. You're just speculating about what may or may not be going on in Cliff Richard's silent head.
And may I say, Richard, that on the BBC, speculating about what's going on in Cliff Richard's head is not a good move.
People have got in trouble for that. There's more Cliff Richard news.
We can't take any more Cliff Richard news.
We've not milked this
We're going to have
cow.
the Director General down here in a minute. Just get on.
Please. Just let me get through this Cliff Richard section.
It's too much.
There's not enough.
He's got to bring out a swearing
We're not
album.
talking enough about Cliff.
Okay.
At this moment.
Yeah.
What else didn't he do this week?
It is a question about what he didn't do.
Yeah.
Amanda. What did he reveal he will no longer be doing in his calendars? That's right, we're asking questions about what Cliff will not be doing. It's a very wide topic. And you think of stuff Cliff wouldn't do?
I can't think of anything that he wouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Did he, this week, invade Iraq, for example?
No.
I think if the rest of us don't attempt to answer the question, this bit will be over quicker.
Cliff's about to reveal his 40-second calendar, but he will no longer be posing topless.
Oh, yes. I see both teams have both got 2 points still.
Yeah.
It's been a good night.
It's going well.
Yes.
I think we should just, at the end of the show, just say, there's no result. You'll have to watch next week. We're still counting.
At the moment, it just says... It's just broadcasting me swear words from Cliff Richard's brain directly. It's just thinking them and they just come up on this display.
This is humble servant of the people just waving away the elite.
That's the final exit. Well, one doesn't want to gloat. I don't think that would be appropriate. Dominic Cummings has been sacked and has lost his job.
He's been sacked and he's lost his job.
And he's been sacked.
As well.
I mean, two, can you imagine, both happening at once?
Where did that brown box come from?
You're talking about Dominic Cummings leaving with a cardboard box.
Yes.
Is it like when you leave prison and you give them the clothes that you first arrived in the box and you take them away again?
Yeah, I was just a vision of Dominic Cummings going to prison there, which he isn't.
Yeah.
Apparently, the culture around him had got so toxic, his favourite gesture when he left the room was to pull the plug on an imaginary grenade, throw it behind him. Which is funny because whenever he entered a room, everyone used to go...
This idea that Boris Johnson is doing what his girlfriend tells him, I mean, this is a man who glided into Downing Street with this much younger woman that he hasn't married, while the woman he was married to, behind whose back he impregnated another woman, was having cancer treatment. This is not a man who's pushed around by women. He's not Andy Capp.
Well, he is to a certain extent, because you obviously only have to put yourself in his way, and he's yours. I mean, obviously, he falls for any passing bit of skirt, as the phrase once was. And one does wonder, just looking at the physique, what is so completely compelling about it? He must have a very good chat-up line, don't you think?
Well, I'm the Prime Minister.
Well...
Have you got a comb? He's not the only major politician in recent times to have campaigned for the job that he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump at the moment in America is desperately trying to cling on to the job that he's not doing.
But why? Why do they do that?
Well, in Trump's case, he doesn't want to go to prison.
And in Boris's case, he doesn't want to go home.
Yes, exactly.
And a source told The Times that, left to his own devices, Boris will wander off from decisions and read Pliny or Pericles or eat or shag.
When was the last time Boris read Pliny or Pericles? 40 years ago, I think.
But you're not questioning the eating or the shagging?
No, well, there's visual evidence of both.
Yes.
It's like my relationship with Corbyn is like Bob Dylan, in that I only hate him so much because of his fans. In that people think Bob Dylan is the greatest musician that ever lived, and you go, OK, you listen to something...
That's me. About me.
Yeah, well, you listen to something, it's awful. You know, poet or whatever, but he's got a sinus infection, clearly. I mean, it's not nice to listen to. But then people are so dogmatic and say he's the greatest musician.
He won the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Yeah, literature, not singing.
Well, that's the end of your career.
Yeah. Oh, my week on Twitter next week's going to be lovely.
All I was going to say is I just think you have to say hats off to the Labour Party. The week that the Tory party is in full civil war mode, pulling itself apart, you let Corbyn back into the Labour Party. Brilliant. Focus off. Tories let off hook again.
Oh, hooray, hooray. We've won the vaccine race.
Well, if anybody can fuck it up, it's him.
What was fishy about the announcement from Pfizer?
Well, it wasn't fishy. It was just, it came after the American election had been decided.
What did Donald Trump say about that?
Well, he said it was fishy because it was after the American election hadn't been decided.
That's his logic, isn't it?
Yes.
He said, if this vaccine had been developed a few weeks earlier, I would have won the election, which I did.
Yes.
The problem with this story is it's just such fantastic news, no one really knows how to react. So you watch the papers and broadcasters and they're going, well, the world's been saved. After all, we thought we'd be with this virus forever and life would be thoroughly miserable. But it's quite a low temperature in the fridge, though. Really.
Why is Boris Johnson in isolation?
He's got an app that tells him whenever he's been near one of his children.
This is Joe Biden, who is waiting to become the president in January. And Trump is in a position where he can't lie, cheat, steal, bribe or bully his way out of a losing situation, and apparently this is driving him mad. And he's locked himself away. He's not come out of the White House. He sits there every day just watching television, fuming, sacking people. He doesn't care about other people, and he doesn't care about, as I was saying earlier in the bit that was edited out, he's desperately fighting to keep the job that he doesn't want to do.
And who has he fired this week?
He's fired this man, Krebs, who's in charge of counting the votes.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? He's head of cyber security. He sends him out with the authority to check on all these claims, these legal situations, and come back with the answer. And Krebs comes back and says, no, there was no fault, there was no corruption. So he sacks him.
Yeah. This would embarrass the average banana republic.
But it would embarrass the average banana. Didn't need the word republic on the end of that sentence.
The Crown, obviously, is back, and there's uproar because it is not accurate.
It's more the dates and the shifting around of events and the suggestion that Mrs Thatcher and the Queen wept together over the danger of their boys when these events were hugely separated in time and extremely unlikely.
Spoiler alert, I've only just started season 4.
No, spoiler alert, it happened in the 1980s.
Yeah, I was born in 1990. Next thing you're going to tell me that Charles and Diana didn't even work out.
No, I'll give you a sneak preview. She goes in to see the Queen, Mrs Thatcher, and the Queen goes, hello, would you like to sit there? And she goes, yes, I would,
What did this is
That's it for hours.
How many years have you been able to do that?
Do you know what Prince Charles said?
Yeah, that was it.
Hey, I tell you who's had a good year. Prince Andrew. I reckon he's the only person for whom 2020 has gone to plan.
Yeah.
Because we've all forgotten that he said he wasn't a pedo because he's been to Pizza Express.
When they get to the Prince Andrew story, the Crown's rather dubious grasp of historical facts will probably claim that he's a pizza who was at Pedo Express.
Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Is she saying how much longer you're going to keep that invisible budgie on your finger?
And as the waiting drags on to the point of awkwardness, it looks like Emmanuel Macron's pet kestrel is not coming back.
Just done my budgie joke.
Just on the budgie joke.
The writers have seen, oh, that's a good joke. Right, quick, find somebody with his hand sticking out. Macron, budgie, can't do kestrel, yeah, begins with a K, funny K, put it in, give it to you, then you cut out my joke.
Good night.
Good night, yeah, oh, good night.
I like how the British government think that the virus will take time off like we will, like, for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because, the virus wants to spend time with his family, too.
Yeah, couldn't we have Christmas just delayed? Couldn't we have it at Easter?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it might confuse some of the religious messaging going on.
I think
Jesus was born and died on the same day.
Might give the impression that Jesus was crucified at the age of 3 days old, but other than that...
Has there been some good news this week? Can anyone think of any?
Yeah. We've got another vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I said last week, no one knows how to deal with good news. People are funny, aren't they? They just think this is going to go on forever and there's no way out of it. And then you say, we've got 3 vaccines, and they go, 3, but that'll be confusing.
I mean, it's just like people joined the 100 Years' War. They said, is this never going to end? And when the next time we do this series in the spring, we'll have real people sitting in the audience, instead of people sitting at home underneath the bedclothes, getting up to all sorts of things, and occasionally looking up at the screen and giving an odd laugh here and there. I didn't know there was so much gin and tonic in the country.
His name is Alex Bourne. He was a former neighbour of Matt Hancock, and he's been supplying the government with tens of millions of vials for NHS COVID-19 tests.
He runs a pub, does he?
The Cock Inn. I don't know why I said it like that.
Yes, when Matt Hancock's there, people say, is the Cock Inn?
How has the Belgian town of Oudenburg caused a bit of a Christmas kerfuffle? The mayor, Anthony Dummery, commissioned some Christmas lights to perk up the town, and he got these.
The blue colour at the top's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
They should get those at the Cock Inn.
What's that, Reg? What's that?
That would be a monolith that was discovered recently in Utah.
The bikini has travelled through the galaxy. It's a monologue delivered by somebody with a lisp.
What?
A monolith is a monologue delivered by somebody with a lisp. Doesn't matter, it's too late now.
Well, no one knows where it's from, Ian.
What's this, the monolith?
Yeah.
That sounds like a monologue delivered by somebody with a lisp.
Well, if you look really closely, you can just make out Ed Miliband's at 6 election.
Is it a statue of you, Joe?
Do you know what? I wish it was a statue of me, because I think it looks much more attractive than me.
Oh.
No, Ian, I'm not saying that in a self-deprecating way, but I think it's rather beautiful, that
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
It's as sexy as you, Joe. Don't you worry about
it.
Oh,
You're as sexy as a piece of upright metal in Utah.
Oh, where are we now? More la la
Are you
la
blushing,
la.
Joe?
What?
Are you blushing?
No, I'm not. I've got high blood pressure. No one really knows. Our newsreader's a bit short on facts, as we can see here. Let's have a look.
The structure not only appears to be solid and heavy, but is more than 2 times the height of this man.
This just in.
And so to round 2, the Teddy Picker of News. Let's see, fingers on buzzers, team.
Yeah.
Here's the first one.
Oh, you guys gone all out for this.
Until now, I didn't realise we didn't have a graphics department.
The cricket tee. It's going to be scrapped.
The cricket tee?
Cricket tee. It's in the middle of the game. You have tea. It's a measure of the sport's athleticism. That about halfway through you stop, you eat cake, preferably sandwiches, which are very, very important.
So let me understand. You're going to have to eat before or after the game rather than during the game.
Yes, I mean, it is an appalling limitation on personal freedom.
Why is Sussex League Club Horsehead Keen's Horsemen T20 team devastated by the rule change?
They specialise in making tea rather than playing cricket?
Well, a spokesperson for the club told The Times they're very disappointed. We've been working on a new Pavlova recipe. Would you like to see a dog watching a darts match?
Every day of my life.
Yeah.
And Scott, his mind probably on that missed opportunity to take the leg and the set, which would have made it 3-3. That went.
It's like the dog. It's like the dog that stays in the room is looking at the owner saying, "You see how stupid he is? I told you he was fucking stupid. Look at him. Look at him. See it? Okay, all right. But you love him too, don't you?"
Angry man in Lancashire sends local council photo of his son what?
There was a massive pothole and the dad kept complaining to the council. The council kept ignoring him, so he put his son in the pothole and took a picture to prove his point.
Absolutely correct.
Brilliant.
There he is.
Blimey. And we presumably he hasn't dismembered his son just to put him in a sort of 3-inch puddle.
And in Portsmouth, as a salon prepares to reopen, it occurs that no one checked on Donna in the tanning machine before they closed 3 weeks ago.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Santa's coming and he's bringing needles.
That's him retraining, new job. This is more good news.
It is.
The Pfizer vaccine's being rolled out. I think the people who are going to be saved first are Boris, Hancock, and the rest of the cabinet. And I think they're hoping the vaccine will make us forget the rest of the year. And we'll just think, they're amazing.
That's after Slough was placed in Tier 3 restrictions, whereas the whole of the rest of the surrounding area was in Tier 2. Have a look at this.
Oh, wow.
Slough invented the zebra crossing,
Oh, OK.
the wheelie bin, and the planet Uranus. There we are. Was discovered.
It invented the planet.
It invented Uranus. Yes.
That was a busy weekend.
Yeah. William Herschel, the astrologer,
Yes.
had his super telescope there and spotted you.
He wasn't an astrologer, surely.
What did I say? Astrologer?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
No, that would be very funny if he'd said, oh, you're going to have quite a bad week and meet someone who you might grow to love.
Uranus is ascending.
What did they launch in Japan this week to make COVID more fun?
A board game?
No.
Oh, is it a mutation of the virus?
Public Health England have advised that at-risk people should not sing or play board games.
Well, it's good advice for Alexander, isn't
Yeah,
it?
well, yeah, thanks. Thanks for nothing, Public Health England. Thank you.
We've got to redefine singing first, though.
Oh! Just because we're through lots of layers of perspex doesn't mean that doesn't hurt. Who'd like to see a squirrel drunk on fermented pears? There we are.
Imagine if the first time you got drunk, you had no idea what had caused it.
Yeah, and you saw that in your garden.
What was Trump mocked for this week?
Was it his teeny tiny table?
His teeny tiny desk.
Oh, I love
His
this.
teeny tiny table.
Have you ever been to like a parents' evening at a primary school where you go and sit down with a teacher and you try and have a really serious conversation and you're just sat on these teeny tiny little chairs, at teeny tiny little tables?
Let's have a look at his teeny tiny table.
I think what's happened is that he's acted like a child for so long that his team are finally like, right, we're going to start treating you like one, and first we're putting you on that Fisher-Price table.
What did Melania do at the White House this week?
Carve another number into the wall.
Also this week, Joe Biden slipped and suffered a hairline fracture in his foot while playing with his dog. Biden is currently wearing a protective boot, but the good news is that in a few weeks the boot will be removed so that Biden can fit in his coffin. That's because he's old. He's old.
He's not that old.
Sir Philip Green, I believe he is, who used to be in charge of British Home Stores and various other companies, who have now gone bankrupt. So it's another nail in the coffin. Not referencing Joe Biden's coffin in any way, because that would probably be cut.
That'll be cut.
We keep talking about it.
But what's amazing is just how old Debenhams is. I didn't know.
Yeah,
240 the year Debenhams, the first Debenhams was opened in London, James Cook landed on Hawaii. That's how... I think he just missed their sale on blankets laced with smallpox.
And in that very same year, Joe Biden entered Congress. Because he's quite old, you know.
Is that because he's so old?
It's because he's so old.
Oh, I believe, I bet he's going to die.
Oh,
isn't he?
I hope not. Well, if he does, I'm sure they'll make adequate funeral arrangements, don't you think?
Did you gather what his nickname was on set?
No.
Filming Star Wars. They used to call him Darth Farmer.
Well, he
He had
had a Bristol accent.
Very thick West Country accent.
Yeah, so it was like, I am your father. You know, it wouldn't work really.
It wouldn't be. But he spoke all the lines on the film.
He spoke all like, may the force be with
Luke,
you.
I am your farmer.
I am your farmer.
Thank you.
What do you mean, thank you? Nobody responded at all. There was more life in Joe Biden's foot in 4 months' time.
It's just desperate.
I think he used to do an advert for some kind of washing powder, a washing machine in the 60s, where he would try to wring the washing dry.
Like a man squeezing a joke the whole evening.
If you're attempting to keep me quiet on this subject, you've just made a horrendous error.
The village in Austria that you mentioned, Paul,
yes,
decided to change its name because people kept stealing the sign because the town was called fucking. Why were locals annoyed at tourists coming to the town?
They keep taking our fucking signs.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had enough of visitors and their bad jokes, said one local. That's nice. Look, you can hear our audience.
Oh, no, have we got another audience apart from this one here?
In a cinema over the road.
Are they allowed to drink?
Yes, they are. They've just got vision.
What? So the cinema was looking at a blank screen?
Couldn't you have shown them Dirty Harry or something? With our voices over it.
Oh, the drunk squirrel! Of course we'll see the drunk. Let's have a look at the squirrel after too much fermented pear. Yes, here it comes. The squirrel!
That's the best this show's ever gone. Well, this is an unusual experience because I've got an audience sitting in front of me thinking, I wish that lot would shut up. And I've got another audience, some 500 feet away, pissed out of its head. Laughing at its own jokes much louder than they did at any of ours. Did you miss any of the Joe Biden stuff? Because I'm quite happy to repeat.
2020 National Dog Show takes place under COVID restrictions, but dogs in audience, what?
Struggle to connect on Zoom?
couldn't watch the video of the drunk squirrel until 3/4 into the show. I don't know where you are, but I'm out here for you.
I couldn't believe my luck when I found not one, but two large, what?
Coffins specially designed to accommodate a man. Wearing a boot to protect his injured foot.
In Florida, there's a nightmare for one salon owner after he accidentally leaves the door open during President Trump's latest back, sack and crack.
Yeah, that's how scary it is. In the history of the world, has there been any process that has been sort of so kind of self-sabotaged and useless?
You've got
and
a
back to
fly on you.
square one?
You've got a fly here.
Have I? Oh my God, a Mike Pence.
I'm so sorry, mate. Every now and again we get a pro-Brexit fly.
Yeah. I mean, where was I? I was...
we were establishing a no-fly zone.
Come on! Wow! Yes! Quality marks on that joke there, Paul.
No, after 30 years, Ian has justified his appearance in the programme.
Well, then you can follow suit.
Yeah, well, this is the alarming spike in news reports about Brexit, which has left most of the country struggling to stay engaged.
He is the spirit animal of the present sort of situation, isn't he?
Yes.
Brexit-wise.
You think I'm Mark Scott, person, huh?
Well, if we keep distance.
Keep distance?
Then.
Okay, Mark Scott.
And then we can take
Okay, cute.
moment.
How are you? Good evening, everybody.
So, then we'll put it back on.
Let's put it back on immediately.
Put it
Okay,
back
right.
on immediately. So, no chance.
We're on a tight ship here. Quite right, too.
I love that Boris's whole thing is that he doesn't want to be bossed around by the EU. And then that's just a whole protracted monologue where he gets completely told, yeah.
But I think that's been unfairly edited. It made him look like a buffoon out of his depth.
Is anyone surprised that these Brexit negotiations have reached such crisis point?
Not really. We have been doing it for ages, haven't we, Grayson and Fly?
It's, is it back?
It's back.
Yeah.
Oh
Really interested to...
Where is it?
There are three of us in this partnership.
Oh, it's here, look.
Other side.
Oh, there you go. That's right. It's difficult.
I'm really sorry.
Did you use honey in your wig? What's happened?
I want to know, is he in equity?
This is the return of Brexit, the topic which, back last January, had everyone moaning, I wish something else would dominate the news.
Their dogs are being encouraged to vaccinate people. He's been vaccinated by a dog and he's very happy about it. I had my hair cut today because I vowed not to have my hair cut until the first person got the vaccine in this country, and so I hadn't been cut for about 10 months.
Oh, I wondered why. I thought it was because you looked a bit like Steve Bannon.
No, it was also... it was also because I could, Ian.
Oh, wow.
Second person to get it was William Shakespeare.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, talk about going for the old people first.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, I've just had a brilliant business idea. Whoopee graves, like a whoopee cushion, right? And when the coffin goes down in the grave, it makes a loud farting noise. No, OK, forget it. I've got too enthusiastic.
That would be the appropriate reaction to a whoopee grave, that.
Good idea, wrong place.
We sort of needed the second person to get the vaccine to be called William Shakespeare because we needed puns, didn't we? We needed the conspiracy theorists to be able to say much of flu about nothing.
Flu gentleman of Verona.
It seems no-fly zone was quite some time ago now. Flu gentleman of Verona? Flu gentleman of Verona?
A fart's grave whoopee cushion.
Yeah, that's my idea. That's my idea.
This is the news that Oxford University Press has finally agreed to actually change its definition of women from Essex. So that's famous Essex girl Gemma Collins there. Do we know what she thinks of the dictionary?
I'm a massive fan of the dictionary. You know, we should be, like, promoting the dictionary anyway because, like, it is such an amazing, like, historical British thing, isn't it?
You can see Samuel Johnson just turning in his grave with pleasure.
Don't.
Well, you know...
Don't.
You know what? Put a smile on his face. Particularly if Boswell was there to describe it.
Yeah.
It's an IPA, but it might make you want to say, "Ale to the chief, Brett."
A bad joke well delivered? Do we agree with that?
Many people have made fabulous careers in comedy in the same way.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Why are you looking over here? Anyway, I don't care about comedy anymore. I've got a red-hot business scheme that I'm going to and I'm not saying anything more about it.
I'm agreeing with both halves of that statement.
What expensive Christmas mistake did Hartlepool resident Ray Liddell make this week? He ordered this inflatable Grinch online, but he didn't realise it was actually this big. Because of COVID, several companies have launched Santa on Zoom initiatives, including one in Finland which costs £71 for 5 minutes.
Ow.
Of which the first 4 minutes are spent with the desperate child shouting, "Santa, you're on mute! Unmute! Bottom left! Bottom left!" And in London, after 10 months, Paul Merton gets his hair cut. Good night.